Hello, everyone. A very good evening. A warm welcome to all of you from Shiksha.com and lovely professional university. We hope that you are doing well and keeping safe. We've got a very interesting topic to discuss today, which possibly defines your career ahead. The topic is called as Is it advisable to do a specialization in B.Tech? What and how do you choose? For which we have expert members who will be answering all your questions and will be taking you through the journey of the student decision making while in this particular dilemma. The speaker for today is Mr. Sami Anand, Assistant Dean and Assistant Professor, Head of Department Training and Placement, School of Computer Science and Engineering. He's an experienced professor with a demonstrated history of working in the education management industry, skilled in cloud computing, process automation, mobile application development, student skill development planner, programming, lecturing, and curriculum development. A strong human resources professional with a master's degree focused in computers. So for the next 30-35 minutes, Professor Sami will be taking you through the questions and the possible things which you might have in your dilemma, post which we'll be taking up your questions. I would request all the users to keep on noting down whatever queries you have, which we'll be taking up around 4:40. Over to you, Professor Sami. I think you're on mute. You need to unmute yourselves.
Yeah, thank you, Karan. Thank you for the warm introduction, I would say. Good afternoon, everyone. It's great, to come and host such an important session on a good topic with all of you. This is the dilemma which everyone who has done engineering has went through, and when I remember my days, it's the same question that popped out when we were there to take admission, and it's the same thing. It's the same thing that we need to understand, and with the experience that I've got over the years, I'll just be sharing a few pointers which would help you take that decision easily. You will be more sorted on how to calculate things and which things to trade off for the other ones. So it's what I call is a trade-off decision. You would have to trade off one thing for the other. You need to decide which thing to trade off, which not to trade off, and that's all about it, I would say. So I'm sharing my presentation for the day, and you will be able to ask me questions at the end of it. Don't worry, keep all the questions that you have in mind ready. I'll be taking most of the questions possible by end of this presentation. So Karan, if you can just confirm when the presentation is visible. So
Absolutely, sir. It is pretty much visible. I can see the branches with the confused student on the screen.
correct. So this is the dilemma which it tells about the current state of the students, that so much to choose from and how. And this is the dilemma, being very honest, which you all don't have. It's the dilemma which we used to have. There is another level of dilemma added to all of these subsets now. If you're going for CSC, which CSC branch to go for, there are a lot of specializations that have come up, which mechanical specialization to go for. So now considering that there are a lot of specializations, and why do we need specialization? Let's start with the main question for the day. It's just about the idea about why you want to do engineering. So the first most thing is, why do you want to do engineering? I'll talk about a few pointers. If you see yourself in those pointers about why do you want to do engineering, you should rethink that and think about something better. That's it. We talk about certain facts and uses, certain stats that are out there in the industry. We'll talk about all those facts, those stats, and then we'll let you know that okay, this is what is expected when you will graduate. What's out there for you when you graduate? Which stream obviously is a big question that we'll be answering for you all of you. Now, why engineering? The most common reasons when we discuss with students come up to be, my cousin did it, he's doing very well in it, and I'll also do it. And everyone is making money, so why should not I do? Now, these are the most frequent reasons that come up. Parents looking at the other children's, have this idea that okay, this is what we want our child to do. He's getting very good salary, he's an engineer, he's sitting in a very good position at a company, he goes for an international tour every year, such kind of things which do not should not be considered while you're going for engineering. These are all the most strong reasons to go for engineering. So if these reasons, throw these reasons out of the window straight away. Then you have to, choose well, else the problem would come up as work fatigue. You would burn out. You would have to take early retirement, might be. So these are all the, options that you need to understand why engineering, because you take a branch, you go into it, you get a job to it, and you don't like that job, and you're still trying very hard to do it. You'll turn out, you'll burn out. As simple as that. Work fatigue is something that you're, slogging in more and more hours, and you're trying to do it as best as possible, but still not achieving what you want. So burning out is something that you don't like, you're doing it, you'll not be able to do anything. Early retirement, most of us aim for that okay, if you do the right job, if you do the right way. Personal goals everyone has. If I state, I would like, at the age of 45, I would like to, hang my boots, relax, enjoy, roam around, go for a world tour, something like that. So that's the idea that most of us have. Okay, we need to work, so much that we earn, and then for the next 15 years we can spend. And that's the retirement planning which most of us do, and the same planning I would say I have. But working towards is very difficult if you have the wrong job, I would say. Options of career changing, after a few years when you have been into a career trying to do it, it becomes very difficult to go around and change an option that okay, I've been doing a degree, I've done a job for a few years in that, and now I want to change it. Yes, it is possible, but the only part is the difficulty level. The difficulty level would be there. You would have to slog in more, you would have to go for it, double in, and then yes, you would be able to change it. But again, that's going to be difficult. If you take the right decision now, it would be a lot easier. Now, let's look at this job landscape that is going to be there. See, being very honest, being from a CSE background, it would be more easier for me to talk about the CSE things. But yes, most of the engineering areas I would be able to touch and talk about them. So this is one of the job landscape which I was able to locate, which would be there by 2025. And the source is written on the top right corner. It's from the World Economic Forum, and it's a report that they published in December 2020. So that's very like yesterday, I would say. Now, so what they say is around 85 million jobs would go out and 97 million jobs would come in. And if you see which kind of jobs would go out and which kind of jobs would come in, so at the end of each job you see a word, either specialist, analyst, developer. Such words are added. And being from any engineering background, moving forward, computer is a very basic skill that you would need to know. You cannot be I would say a good employee of a company if you are not tech savvy. And yes, we were talking about it for approximately half a decade ago. We are talking about that this should be there, this should be there, and COVID came in and it brought down everything a decade earlier. So it pushed us to move into this era where we wanted to be in a few years a bit, I will not say a bit, but a lot earlier. So all the companies which did not even plan for working remotely and all had to plan abruptly about working remotely, and that's what has brought the change in the industry, that everyone needs to be working on computers now. So remote is the new which is going to be there, and all the jobs which you see are easily to be done remotely, and most of these are currently being done by a lot of people remotely. So if I talk about IT workforce at this point of time, I was talking to a few of my friends who are at a very good position in a lot of big companies. So I could easily say approximately 70, most of the organizations are working right now from their homes. I'm talking about the IT organizations. Yes, about the manual labor and all that would stay, but most of the other jobs would turn around and move into the and I'll be moving to a slide that would just define that. Now, what did COVID-19 push us to? To scale remote work 83%, to accelerate digitization, it becomes 84%, and automation, it most of us did not even think about that automation would be there and it would come up, but 50% ramp up of automation has been there. And automation is a very big industry going to come in, and it's not about automation as in the manual, but it is the automation of the task that you do on a computer. The computer will be able to do those tasks on itself, and you would have to just just push in few commands and then just sit back and relax, and it will do rest of the things for you. So industry that is coming up, and there's nothing robotic about it. It's just the task that computer is doing on its own. So if you look at for 2022, that's the next year, what kind of changes are going to be? So these are the new job roles which are there now. With moving online, cybersecurity, that's the big new thing that's coming up, and everyone is aware about it. All the Facebook hack, LinkedIn hack, all the the data being available everywhere now. Cybersecurity has become a field which everyone wants cybersecurity specialists now. These fields are going to be there from moving forward. Everyone wants to secure that data. Each and every company would love and have their data secured, rather than learning out that okay, my company was hacked and a lot of data was scrapped out. So this is one of the areas that is coming up rampantly, and people are looking at it like anything. Now, this is what I was talking about, the rate of automation. So 2020, the rate of automation says that currently 67% of the task has been done by a human, and 33% is what we have automated and machines are doing it. By the time you graduate in 2025, 47% and 53% would be still the human intervention. Now just imagine there would be a 14% change that would come in, and how many job opportunities that would bring in. So automation is a very lucrative area at this point of time, and it's going to grow. Now, the other jobs which are there going to change: digital marketing specialist, digital imagining leader, IT process modeler. So these are the jobs which are going to coming up, which are not that much there in 2021. Was there, people did not know about it, and it just popped up because of the COVID, and it's now there in 2022. Top 10 skills which companies would be looking at, besides talking about the specialization that you are from. These are the critics things which they would be looking at. You should be an active learner. You should be able to solve complex problems, critical thinking and analysis, creativity, originality, leadership, social influence, technology use, technology design. So these are the basic things that you would need, the top 10 skills when you start, irrespective of the stream that you go for. And this is more important than the basic specialization that you have. Now let's talk about the streams which are there. All of these streams are there. These are the streams which are there since a long way back, I would say. So these are all these streams which which we had the problem with. So when I was there choosing my engineering, this was the diagram which I had to look at and decide, okay, which area do I need to fall into. Sorry to say, it became more complex for all of you. From just small boxes, such big way, what you have to choose from, this is your domain. Being very honest, it just burst out, and so many specialization just came out, and from this to this, it by just moving the slide, it seems so difficult that okay, there's a big change. There were small boxes, big boxes with small name, now small boxes with big name. So that's the change that is there now. Now, talking about all of these, aeronautical, aerospace, automobile, biomedical. Now, all of these specializations that are there, why do we need specialization? That's the question we need to answer. Now, let's talk about. Being in India, the most popular sport being cricket. Let's take an example from cricket. You can take this example in any sports you love. You can just think about that sport, what I'm talking about, and you'll be able to relate to this example. So if I talk about a composition of a team in cricket, so the composition is what? So the composition says that in cricket there should be a few batsmen, should be a few bowlers, there would be wicket keeper, there would be an all-rounder. Similarly, if you take football, midfielders, defenders, attackers, keeper. So there are specific roles defined in each sport for a person playing that. I'm all talking about a team game, because you are not going to run a company on your own. When you're going to join an organization to work for, being an entrepreneur, you're going to start a company, you have a team you go for. Don't go for individual sports. What I'm talking about is a team sport. Now, these specific roles, if I talk about cricket, for the example, you would need I would say bowler. In bowler, there are further specializations in bowler. There's a seam bowler, there's a spin bowler, there is a fast bowler, there's a medium pacer. You know, someone who's good with googly. There's a left armer, there's a right armer, there's an off spinner, there's a leg spinner. Such an option in just in bowling. Batsmen are there, so batsmen are mostly right-handed and left-handed. But again, so he's an opener, he's a middle order batsman, he's a hitter, such kind of there. Then there are all rounders who can come, who can bat, who can bowl, who can do good fielding. Fielding is another aspect that has been added, I would say. Wicket keeper, again a specialist role. So these are the specialist roles that are there. Yes, you could have a few players which know basics, but you need specialists everywhere. The people who are running the ones who basically know about cricket, but the ones who be playing should be specialists. So someone who's coming in into a company to do work, starting work, you're coming in a data science domain. You're coming as a at this point of time biotechnology engineer, medical engineers, vaccination, mass production of vaccines, needed people who have core knowledge about it. So specializations are important, they are needed, and that's how you are placed into different companies. And they look for people for specialized role, and hardly anyone would look for someone who knows all of it. Okay, so that's again a very all-rounder kind of situation that you put yourself into. That's another, I could say, one of the other way of specialization. So you have to choose one of this specialization when you come in. And why you have to choose? Industry has evolved over the years. People in specific area needs specific kind of skill set, and those specific skill sets are highlighted in these specializations. Yes, choosing the specializations could be a quite tricky question at the point of time right now. So if I'm saying most of the students who go for CSE, so should I go for big data? Should I go for data science, cloud computing? What is going to be there 4 years down the line? That's another big question that you need to answer for yourself. But being very honest, all these specializations that you see right now in this slide are there to say for more than a decade, I would say. So yes, if I talk about the 5-year plan, you choose a specialization and you're through. You will get a good job, a very good job if you're good at it. If I talk about 10 years down the line, if you just stick to one of these skills, you're out. You played a very good innings, but you're out. Because right now we are talking about specialization. 5 years or maybe 7 years down the line, I would say, we'll be talking about interdisciplinary, and that's the future. So 10 years down the line, it would be interdisciplinary B.Tech. So someone from CSC will be doing a B.Tech, which is I would say a mixture of CSC and agriculture, or CSC and mechanical, because now cars are going to be self-driven. So you need a mechanical engineer who knows about cars to know about CSC, so that one person can do a task of how the car is going to work and how the software is going to work all together, and not about hire a mechanical engineer for the car working, hire a CSC engineer for the software working part. No, there should be a guy who knows a bit of both. He will obviously not be doing coding, because coding would be automatically done 7 or 8 years down the line. Most of the codes would be auto available. You have to just mix and match it and run it there. Yes, critical codes would still be written, but again, the segmenting of the jobs would be totally different in the days to come. So that's going to be the future 10 years. But what you need to focus is about the next 4 years. When you pass out in 2025, what would be the scenario? So this scenario would say exactly the same. These specializations would be the most in demand after 4 years. So when you move in, you do not need to stay stagnant. So I like to say that thing that your parents say, just complete 10th and you can enjoy, just complete 12th, you can enjoy, just do engineering, you can enjoy. I'll not say that. So you complete your engineering, you'd be good for a 2 or 3 year period, and you'd be good and you're performing well, earning well, enjoying well. But what extra skill that you need to add to your kitty, and that's how the interdisciplinary engineering would come into play. And right now, this is sufficient. This is more than sufficient. So which one to go for? That's the question, and we'll answer that during this presentation. Don't worry. Now, for which stream? how do you like to spend your time is most important. So let's just have a video, and please listen to this video very carefully. He's a very phenomenal guy, and he's speaking about the truth about the industry that is going on, and he talks about exactly the reason which we are trying to convey to you. I get surprised people start preparing for IIT. So what he says is the time he like to spend is about focusing on the things that would help others to work around with. And if you look at the things, then you how do you like to spend your time today? Is your mobile phone. That's the answer. If I talk to most of the Gen X guys, that what do you like? We like to spend time on our phones. PUBG is the favorite one to go. But that's not the answer. If you leave all of that, which is the way you are happy to do. So you like to spend time on computer, you like to move working with hands, you're liking to move work with people, you're more of a nature guy, you're more in a lab or a kitchen kind of guy. So the time that that's easy to spend for you is the area that you want to be in, and that's the area that would help you choose the right stream you're going for. Now, do you like, again, matters a lot. Do you like science? Do you like maths, physics, chemistry, bio? Would help you choose your stream very easily. If you're in computers, now you have to choose the data science, the cloud computing, the big data, and all of those. So the simple to choose one on the basis of how good you are at things. So someone going for data science, someone going for big data analytics, wherever it's analytics, you need to be good at maths. You need to be good at logical reasoning. If you're good at that, you're good for a development role, which it says development, full stack development, software development, such kind of development roles. It's very simple that okay, you're going for a development role, your creativity, your intuitivity should be good. So if you're good with that, average maths, you're good to go there. If you're going for something like cloud computing, it's a technological skill, it's just your basic aptitude, that should be okay. The rest is good to go. You can do it easily because it's a technology that you need to learn, and you work on that technology, and you just work with the changes that technology brings in. So you choose technology, you're choosing a particular area like data science or big data, you are choosing something which is a development role. You can decide on that. When you come to when you come to metallurgy and all, okay, you have interest in how those things work, just look at a video about how they extract minerals from a mine, and if you're interested in that, then you're okay, you can go for metallurgy, you can go for mining, a lot of other degrees that you want. Mechanical is obviously an opportunity. In mechanical, you can go for other opportunities that you want. That all depends on how much you love physics there. So physics is a very integral part of any go for. So if you're good at physics, you can go there. Again, physics is good, math has to be good. So which subjects you like will decide where you can go. What companies inspire you? So you need also look at which companies inspire you. So the work that those companies do would be able to help be a guiding light to you that where you need to go, how you need to be. Placements, the last factor, but I highly disregard this factor at the time you select placements or salary package. Because if you see that, okay, the companies are getting a good salary package in CSE, I want to go for CSE, and you're not built for CSE, you'll not be able to achieve that salary package. That's plain simple, the correct answer to it. If you're good at it, you will able to get that salary package. So out of all the students that take engineering, that take CSE, not all will get that salary package. Only the ones who did, CSE with that seal because they wanted to do it and spend their 4 years with that same enthusiasm will be able to reach that particular package. Someone who's doing mechanical will also get a good package. Might be a similar package what it is being offered, but only and only when he lives, dies, and breathes, I would say, mechanical. And that's how you go about it. That you go for that engineering, you die for that engineering, and if that's the attitude you have, you'll obviously get the best salary packages available, and there's no second thought to it. Now, this is a big dilemma that all of these students have, and I just would like to address it in the last 5 minutes that I talk about. Stream over institute or institute over stream. So you go for a lot of campuses, you see a lot of colleges, and you want to choose between them. So in some, you're getting the stream, but you're not getting the institute of your choice. In some, you're getting the institute, but you're not getting the stream of your choice. Now, what you need to understand is this is what the trade-off I was talking about at the very start. So you need to trade off. You need to understand, if you're die hard for a stream, that okay, this is something that I'm very sure about in my life, and this is what I want to do. Obviously, you can overlook the level. So it's not that you should overlook the institute totally and just go any institute that's offering you that. So you just have to shortlist. I would say match the following table. On the left, you would have to draw your streams of that. This is my first, this is my second, this is my third. On the right, you draw all your institutes that are there. Just match which streams in which institute you are going, and they should be ranked. The institute should be ranked from 1 to 10 on the right side, so that this is the rank 1 institute, 2, 3, and 4. And then you have your streams on the left, and you're able to rank which campuses you are aiming to get. And the ranked campuses, if let's say you're getting the stream in not the first one but the second one, not a problem. I don't see a problem there. Easily choice, go for the stream. But if you're choosing a stream which you're not getting in your top 10 and you're going out institutes, I see a problem there. I think so you might not be made for that stream. Now comes the question, you're getting institute but in a different stream. Obviously, a good institute would always lend you a good exposure. You would be a good I would say around good people. You would be working there. You would get a lot of motivation from people around you. You'll get a placement for sure if it's a good campus and you have done good there. You might not love the job that you're doing. So the idea is very simple. Your stream, your best colleges that you want, map it. If your stream is falling out of those colleges, you need to rethink the stream that you're in. It might not be that you're not cut for that stream. Might be you're cut for that stream and you don't have the marks or the score to get in. So again, if that's the case, are you good for it? If you're good for it, do a there are a lot of tests available online which you can go and take. The psychometric, whether you're cut out for that or not. Take a test whether you suit CSE or not. You suit CSE, you want to go for it, you're not getting in the top colleges, go for the stream. That's okay. But if not, then obviously go for a good institute with the stream. That's your second choice or your third choice. So the idea is very clear. It's not about stream over institute, institute over stream. It's about stream, which campuses you are getting it into. There's a bit of trade-off. You're ready to do that trade-off. Good to go. If not, rethink the idea. As simple as that. Thanks, everyone. I think so. I would have completed it before the time that is there. So we have good amount of time for questions and answer. Karan, if the students have already posted a lot of questions, I think so.
Yes, sir. In fact, a lot of questions which were asked by students have already been answered, but yes, we'll be taking them up again because this is that critical phase of a student life where the student wants to hear the same answers again and again. So we'll be taking the relevant ones up for the session that we have today. And I can pretty easily recall that 13 years back, 12, 13 years back, while I was in this particular decision making, all these questions were the same ones which I was thinking and discussing with my parents and cousins at that point of time. Yeah. So we have a question which says that in the last few years, computer science has been divided in 3, 4 types in the single batch. So how does a student justify or decide that which specialization he or she should opt for, given that all these specializations are a new age course? So AIML, all these courses are new age courses. They don't have a background of that. So how should a student decide that?
Thank you, Karan. So being very honest, these courses are not new age courses. They were there in the industry, uh, brought out at a broader stage when people are able to look at the broader use of it. So being very honest, if I talk about the AI, the ML, which is one of the most coming up technologies in terms of being day-to-day usage. So there were homes being created which is being operated by voice. Very simply, I would say that most rich people who would have that privilege.
So you are mute. I think the
There
system
is
is
some
on a
noise
mute.
coming from your end. That's why I muted. So if you can just
Okay, sorry.
thank you, Karan. So what I was saying was these Alexas, these Google Minis that are there nowadays, they are bringing up the usage of AI and ML doorstep, and that's why you hear about AI ML more. There are a lot many technologies which you might have not heard about, not coming to your doorstep right now. But with cloud computing, it's been there for a very long while. You have been using it. Google Photos, which you use in your phone to store your photos, is a direct example of cloud computing aspect of storage that. But because you have not experienced it in that manner, you're not aware about it. These technologies which I showed, I told you that these technologies are there to stay. All these technologies are there in the industry from a very maybe 2 decades from now. They were there, came into the spotlight because now we have applications which can be given to everybody to use. So if I talk about computers, we have them in your laptops and all. Few years down, no one thought about having computers even at home. They were scarce when I started. I brought in a computer. I still remember in the year 2000 in my home, 1999 and 2000, the complete colony came to look at the computer. Now you don't worry about someone buying a laptop or a phone. It's very simple. Anyone can have a phone or a laptop. So it's the same thing. AIML was there, but no one knew about it. Only a few people who were aware about it and were using it were about, was there. But then when now they're in a larger scale application, everyone knows about it. Everyone wants to be a part of it. That's why the technologies are coming up. Now, how to choose a technology, as I already told you, will be based on the subjects and the kind of skills that you have. You have good analytical skills, you have good mathematical skills, go for data science, big data. You are good with logical reasoning and all. You go with program development and all. You're good with only and only understanding and implementing a logic, go for programming and all. So that's how you decide that how much you're good at one thing and you will be going for the other. Karan, we can have the next question.
Yes, thank you for answering this. Students, we hope that whatever were your confusions would have got a little bit of clarity with respect to whatever answers we just had. In fact, it should really help us in these times to discuss all these things with as many experts as we can, so that we get a clear path for the future. The next question is by Miss Anushka Sharma. She was about to take biotechnology as a specialization and she's already applied to LPU for that. But she has a query that whenever she debates with her family, friends, or cousins, they come back to her telling that biotech has no scope. So initially she was firm with choice, but now she's a little bit of confused. Can you throw some light on biotech as a career in the coming few years? Over to you, sir.
Brilliant question, Shreya, I would say. And tend to confuse their, your friends and relatives tend to confuse everything. It's a brilliant field that you have chosen, first of all. And this field is there to stay, Shreya. Let me give you a simple example. Talking about the biomedical right now, obviously the comes in and biotechnology plays a role there. But just to give you a basic idea, uh, our ecosystem is evolving, the earth is evolving and changing. If I talk about technology would be a vast important person in a coming few decades. You eat Maggie, you eat frozen fruits. So these are all coming out of a part of biotechnology, food processing industry. Now, how to preserve it, how to keep it more longer, uh, to be eatable, how to expand that logic of food being delivered, not just that, plants, cultivations, all of this, if I talk about, somehow comes from biotechnology. If you look at the future, the food sources are depleting around the world because of the pollution. I don't know how many of you know about it. There is a place where all these seeds and everything are kept frozen in the world. You can just go ahead and search about it. So biotech is going to grow, is going to be there. It has a lot and lot of opportunities coming up. Only part, you might not immediately see biotech get into a job opportunity which implements direct biotech. You might come to a company which is running biotech, would take you in, would give you basic roles, and you would grow with the year. So this is a field where experience matter a lot as compared to what degree you own. So if you do it, once you move into the industry, you get a few years of experience, you would be a very good candidate. But if you want, okay, I clear my degree, immediately I want a top role, chance is there. But yes, with experience, this is a place which is going to stay. I hope I answered your query, Shreya. Karan, we can have the next question, please.
Like you mentioned, sir, that particular thing goes in a lot of phases in a lot of career options in our life, not only with respect to biotech. In fact, that's how life goes on. The processes are more important, and eventually the experience matters. So I remember an incident with a friend when I was studying during my engineering days. He told me that take your exam as a test paper, and that's a test match. So stay on the crease and spend your time. So that's how you'll be able to score maximum marks going ahead. So
Absolutely,
that's
absolutely.
what life as well. Yeah. So we have a next question from Mr. Ritvik. Ritvik is from a diploma computers background and he wants to know the difference between B.Tech computer science and B.Tech IT. He wants to enroll for the same but is not able to fix the stream. What parameters should he consider for his decision making?
Okay, Ritvik, there is one dilemma, I would say. CSE and IT. There's not a lot of difference between a CSE and an IT degree. CSE is more towards code development. IT is more towards support IT industry. So this dilemma would be, I would say, diluted completely in the years to come. There would only be a CSE degree. The IT might fade out because it's a subset of CSE will, get, I would say, merged with it. But there's not a huge difference. Beside, CSE focus on more on the development side of the technology. IT focus more on the service side of the technology. If I talk about 90% of the courses are going to be same in CSE and IT. There will be only a few courses which are taught in CSE will not be taught in IT. You will be taught other courses which are relevant to the industry as compared to something which is taught in the CSE students. One course that comes to the top of my mind is Automata, which is more about logical development and process development. Whereas if I talk about IT, it's not taught there because it's totally about development logic. So it's, if you want to go into development field, go for CSE. If you just want to, okay, I'm not a development guy, I'm okay with a service-based background as well, go for the IT one. That's simply it is. We can go for the next one, Karan.
Next question, which we have is another question related to biotech as a specialization. So there are more students who want to check for biotech as a specialization. One of them wants to check whether a student with a non-maths core background can apply for B.Tech in biotech. That's the first part of it. And the second part of it is, can a pure PCM student apply for biotech? Can you take us through the journey process of taking an admission in a biotech degree program?
uh, Being very straightforward, for the PCM one to take a biotech, I'm not sure, but we have to look at the eligibility there. But for obviously a one who is had a bio did not had maths, it totally makes sense. You had bio there, you want to go for the further in that area itself. Obviously, it would not be the complete bio which you studied in 12th. It would be an evolution of it, which you're going to study now in your biotechnology. You're going to study about a lot of other aspects about biology, and that would be covered in biotech. Yes, it would be good if you go from a PCB background to a biotechnology. You are in the zone where you started, you're continuing that zone. That would obviously be beneficial. For the PCM, would have to check the eligibility there. If a student is eligible based on that, I think so it should be, because bio is not a big requirement in 12th for biotechnology, because they start from the scratch when you go into biotechnology engineering. So I don't think so it's a requirement there. And because you're starting from scratch in that degree, if you are up for it, you did not take it just because your parents or relative did not want you to take it in 12th. You wanted you to go for these mainline streamline engineering courses. Yes, if you have the interest, you can go for it. Karan, we can
Thank you,
have the
sir.
next one.
Yes, thank you, sir. Then there are a lot of questions about the emerging branch of mechatronics. So people are wanting to know about what exactly is mechatronics. Then should they enroll for such a course? Please, would request you to please throw some light on the same.
Electronics is the combination of mechanical and electrical. Electronics. My mistake. So that's how it gets the name mechatronics. And yes, it's one of the sought after field at this point of time by a lot of industry. Why I would say? Because of the growth of IoT. Now, if I talk about IoT, let's understand how the IoT works in a very short understanding. So, for example, about turning on a light, it's very simple. So, say turn on the light and turn on a fan. But when you go into the deep of IoT, let's talk about self-driverless cars. If I talk about right now, we launched in India, I think a few months back in 2020, at the end of 2020, driverless metro cars were launched, and people are applying through those driverless metro cars in Delhi. And all of this would require a lot of logic of people having the understanding of mechanical as well as electronics built together, because most of the mechanical parts that are going to work and electricity is the one which we are moving towards. So mechatronics is coming up, amalgating these both technologies, coming up with the field which people will have knowledge of both. So as disciplinary one in the very between of my presentation, that years to come we'll be looking at more interdisciplinary one. This is an example of that interdisciplinary I would say degree that is there, and it has a lot of, because people would be wanted to have knowledge of both. And if we say we are going more and more towards robotics, so it does not directly goes into robotic as development, but on the physical essence of the robots and all, it goes there. So I'll just give you an example. Boston Dynamics is a company which develops robot. You just go and check how much they focus about this mechatronics part. Just to give you the basic idea about how to balance a robot with all of the things that you want to go for it. Our body has a very unique way of balancing itself, and you can work. But at the same time, when you have to balance a robot, you have to, a lot of physics and a lot of logics of mechanical and electrical comes into play there. And that's how these degrees help in people designing these things. Thank you, Karan. We can have the next question, I think.
Yes, thank you so much for answering that. I hope the question was pretty much understood by the users who asked the same. The next question we have is from Mr. Manoj, who wants to check that he's given LPU NEST as an exam, but is confused between computer science and aerospace engineering. With which one should he go ahead with?
So, sorry, I missed out the name, Karan, but still, you have picked up two separate, totally different areas. So if you want to go with aerospace, make sure you're a very good student with physics, because that's something that is going to come a lot there. If you don't love physics, if you don't like physics, if you're not good at physics, you just were able to take it because of the PCM group that comes together for the engineering, it would be very difficult to go for aerospace. Rest, if you're good at maths, basics at physics, you can easily go for computer science. Now the choice is yours. Which one do you like more? It's never about placements. It's never about that. It's always about what you like more. If you're more fascinated about how planes are there, how rockets fly, all these things are able to do, how they defy gravity and all. Aerospace is the field that you should go for, but understand physics is very, very much important there. So you should be very good at physics. If not, go for computer science there. Thank you, Karan. We can have the next one.
Yes. Thank you, sir. Manoj, I hope your question has been answered. Uh, yeah. So the next one is by Mr. Aditya, who wants to check if he chooses aeronautical engineering, then what are the kind of the placements that are there in India, and do they even exist for such a course in India?
So being very honest, yes, exist in India, but in scarcity. That's the caveat that it comes with. So HAL is a very, very known brand, Hindustan Aeronautical Limited, which makes a lot of I should say defense projects and builds a lot of things for our defense. So yes, there are companies in India, but again, what I said about biotech, it becomes a bit more further aeronautical. So you would have to go for your masters for sure. I would say if you just go for a bachelor degree and want to go for a job, it would be a bit difficult uh, out there. But yes, if you do a masters and you have properly, there are jobs in India for aeronautical engineers who do masters and have a good thesis, because in master you would have to do a thesis. So if you do it good, if you've done it properly, yes, there are jobs that are awaiting you with. Not just that, there are multiple international opportunities looking at people from India, who have the knowledge of aeronautical. Because uh, being very straightforward, a lot of nations look at the workforce from India because these are the most brightest mind that they have and that comes to them. So yes, the opportunities outside India are also brighter. But again, higher education in this case would be far more necessary. A lot about how you work around, and then I would say 10 years down the line, yes, you would be a good position and at a very good job.
Thank you, sir. Uh,
Karan, we can have the next question.
the next question that we have.
Karan, I think so. There is some lag. I'm not able to hear.
So, am I audible, Professor Sami?
Yes, Rishit, you're audible.
So, I'll take up one of the questions from Yash Chikara. Why CSC is better than other branch and its fee is high? So, why you feel that's a bit higher than the other branches?
Okay. So yes, being very straightforward to you, computers have now entered every industry that is there. Uh, just a small challenge, I would say. Please try to think of a industry where computers are not relevant or not used at all, and you would not be able to think of one. Every industry has computers in it in some or the other way, some with the most easiest usage, some with a lot of complicated usage. Now, because of this usage and computer being in a lot of different fields, it has a very important subject. Now, operations being done with robots, operations being done remotely, doctors sitting in US doing operations in different areas around the world, and such kind of things have come up just because computers have enabled them, and that is the reason computers are in demand in market. The reason for the fees difference from other ones is again because of the demand, I would say, because there's a lot of demand there, a lot of people are needing, so the cost of the infrastructure, the cost of the labs, the cost of the softwares have gone high, and because of that the cost of delivering those courses to students have gone high. We can go for the next question, sir.
Sorry, I got some technical glitch in between, which is why I missed out on hearing this particular part. However, we have a question which is a pretty common dilemma that a lot of engineering students get. So whether they should go for a master's after engineering in India or abroad. What are your thoughts on that?
Karan, can you repeat that last part?
Yeah, so after engineering in India, whether the student should be opting for a master's in India or abroad if he has made up his or her mind for doing a master's course.
Uh, it's depends on the choice. So a lot of I would say people do this. They do their bachelor's in India and then they go for their masters abroad. It depends on how you want to get settled. If you want to look for job opportunities outside India and want to spend a few years there, the choice would be to go and do the masters there because it gives you the exposure. You understand the lifestyle there, and then you can decide whether you want to do the job there, come back to India. That's completely open to you. But if you are still dicey about where do you want, whether you would be able to do a job outside India or not, something like that, obviously you can go for master opportunities in India. Second thing is about which kind of opportunities you're looking at. So if I talk about world looks at India for getting the best minds, as I said earlier. So if I talk about the top companies, they look at the top campuses in India to hire their top people with the best salaries. If we talk about Facebook, if we talk about a lot of other companies, Google, Microsoft, they hire from Indian and at a very brilliant package. Just the idea is they honor the talent that is there. Now the idea is where you are getting that, because the top tier colleges in India with masters have very even lesser than what we have in our bachelors. So if you're not getting a top tier college, yes, you can think about abroad. But yes, if you're getting a good college and which has a good placements with Tech, then or MBA for that fact, you can develop. I hope that resolves your query.
Yeah, thank you, sir. A few recent set of questions asked by Ms. Uma, Mr. Abhinav, and Mr. Suraj are more or less related to computer science as a branch, where they want to understand the difference between AI, ML, data science, and how do these things work, and what are the future prospects for these courses. So these are the three people who have asked a similar set of question in the last 5 minutes to us.
Okay, so let me put it straightforward and in a very easy manner to all of you. I hope you would have any of you I'm talking about, if you have tried learning how to cycle, and if you know how that to cycle, you can take up cycle of Atlas, you can take up cycle of any company that is there, and you will be able to do cycling very easily. uh, so the basics of computer science would remain same. You take any technology, so the basics would remain same. Now it's about which kind of cycle you're driving. That's the technology there. So some cycles have some uniqueness about it, that has other uniqueness about it. So you're choosing one out of the other ones which are there, and you're selecting that, okay, this is the one which I am able to drive easily. Now let me give you a simple example out here. So we all have cell phones, but we have different kind of applications there based on our interest. So in computer science, you will get all these phones are the computer science because they are all the same. Which kind of applications you want to run on that phone? So you are the phone basically. You have gone through CSE. Everyone has that operating system of CSE installed. Now, which kind of applications you want to run on those operating systems is the idea. You want to go for AI, you want to go for ML. Now, the difference between all of this is how these technologies are implemented. So artificial intelligence, in very simple manner, is something, which you're trying to implement the direct replica of a human brain. So you're trying to make a system which can think like a human brain, take the machine learning is the technology which you try to enable the machine to learn from the experiences. It's like you learn the experience. You trip off a place, you fall down. Next time you go through the same region, you know that this is the area where I had this problem and I can trip and fall. So you are more careful there. So same way, the machine learning, it needs to understand how you interact with the system and needs to repeat that interaction with the same manner as a human does. And that's what machine learning is. Data science is all about collecting the data, implementing analysis over that data, presenting that data to the users, telling it about how this data can be effective and implemented. You go for cloud computing, it's all about technology. Sorry, I got muted there. So what I was saying was that the idea is very cloud computing is a technology how we deliver computer science at places where even the physical infrastructure is not available, and how to do that. So the example I took, Google Photos, even you do not have space in your phone, you can still have the storage on cloud. These technologies have their own uniqueness and the way that is used in the industry. So you need to choose what excites you more. It is that you are solving a problem which the computers can work around with it, and it is more that you want to run software technology. So you decide on what drives you better. So if data drives you better, data science, big data is the field for you. If how these softwares are run and executed remotely and how they work around, cloud computing is the area for you. If you want to develop softwares which can think, take decisions, take actions, AI/ML is the area for you. So we can take the last question now.
Yeah. Um, we have another question which wants to check about that question has been asked by Kashish Chopra, who wants to check about the scope of cyber security in the country.
So Kashish, cyber security is another area of science, computer science, that is coming up like anything. So if you know you have worked and studied about, have asked this question, I hope you are aware of the recent scenarios. Facebook data leak, LinkedIn data leak. There are so many data leaks that happened very spontaneously right now. So MobiQuick data leak. So all of leaks which happened are because of the security flaws that were there in the system. And cyber security is coming up like anything, not just because of the reason that there are such kind of problems of data leaks and all. Cyber fraud is growing. People are being duped of money with various different mechanisms online, and they more and more need of people are coming up to protect people from these cyber fraud. So we are moving towards a digital era, digital economy, so where we are transacting online, you are paying through Paytm, you are paying through UPI, someone gets access to all of that, it's a risk. So security is something which is the prime focus at this point of time for the industry, and privacy, of course, is synonym to that. And in India, if you talk about, it's growing huge. It's growing huge. So if you read about most of the security bugs that are identified by most of for the topmost companies are by security researchers in India. So they do a lot of bug bounty. They get a lot of hacking, and the white hacking, that way. So they are white hat hackers. They go around, find a bug, tell the company about the issue, that this is the bug and you can fix it, and they get these kind of opportunities to work with the top tech companies. So it is growing a lot, and yes, it's a good field to be in at this point of time.
Perfect. Thank you so much, sir, for taking out your time and answering student queries and taking us through the student decision-making process and the dilemmas which they face. Uh, yes, thank you so much, audience, for being a lovely audience and taking out your time for. We hope that your questions have been answered. Yeah, for any more details, you can always approach at admissions@lpu.co.in and can also call on the number given on the slide, which is visible to you. All right. Yeah. So that's it from
You
my
guys,
side.
everyone.
Yeah. Thank you so much, sir. Take care. And thank you so much, audience. Please take care, stay safe, and stay home.